Hello, my group threes. Thank you so much for being here with me today for your reading. I am shuffling the Unfolding Path Tarot so we can start to get some more messages for your group, advice from your spirit guides for your current situation. And we are starting, the significator card for your pile is the Wealth card from the Tea Leaf Oracle. And the crystal for your group is the purple fluorite. So let's see what comes out from here. We've got those two to start with. This one is sticking out right here. All right, let's see what we have to start with. The Lovers in reverse, the Magician, and the Empress in reverse. Okay, I'm going to flip these upright so that it's easier for you to see the imagery on them and so that we can kind of take into consideration both possible meanings for the cards. The golden stars around the crown of the Empress and the wealth showering down on this wealth card, the golden coins in this sort of rainfall, are speaking to me in tandem here. If you look closely at this Magician card, you can also see that the element symbols for fire, water, air, and earth are in gold around the Magician's head, which is not dissimilar to how the crown of stars are floating around the Empress's head here. The Empress does often speak of luxury in the sense that the Empress is full of potential, very literally and metaphorically fertile, with the Empress being depicted as pregnant. The Empress is an energy of being about to and ready to bring new possibilities into fruition, being really on the cusp of that. The Lovers in reverse and the Empress in reverse, and then the Magician upright. The first thing I'm being drawn to do is to read what the Lovers card description in the Unfolding Path Tarot guidebook says to us. It is number 6 in the deck, the Empress being number 3 and the Magician being number 1. These all being major arcana. This is definitely a significant message. The keywords for the Lovers are love, relationships, choices, duality, union, commitment, desire, and aligned values. Two hearts beat a little faster as there is something new and exciting on the horizon. That speaks very much to the Empress energy here. The Lovers card represents a true and loving relationship and a deep connection. This card can speak of both a romantic relationship or a lasting friendship. The most beautiful relationships succeed because both parties make the commitment every day to choose the path of loving with an open heart and resisting harshness and easy irritation. The most beautiful love affair is the one you have with yourself. Nurture self-love with as much care as you do romantic love. The Lovers being in reverse and the Empress being in reverse does make me wonder if you are feeling at the moment that there are obstacles obscuring what commitments or choices you wish to align yourself with at this time, or causing you to feel like you are blocked from pouring energy into the things that you know would be more truly in alignment with yourself. As the Empress in reverse might potentially suggest that the fruits of your labors feel as though they are delayed in some way. Obstacles between you and them in some way. The Empress card in this guidebook has the keywords the Mother, outward facing, divine feminine, warmth, fertility, creativity, sensuality, abundance, and nurturing. The divine feminine, as lusciously embodied by the Empress, radiates her sensuality, fertility, and creativity into the world. She has a fiercely protective maternal energy that shelters those parts of you that are feeling weak or vulnerable. This is encouragement to take care of yourself and to make time and space to give yourself the things you need to feel loved and nurtured. When the Empress appears, it is often a sign of abundance and blessings. Standing barefoot on the soft grass of our Mother Earth, look around and acknowledge with gratitude the blessings both big and small. And the Magician in this particular guidebook has the keywords self-empowerment, action, power, manifestation, creation, will, intention, and expansive energy. Everything you could possibly need to achieve your goals you already have within you right now. The Magician is here to remind you that you are the magic of the universe brought to life. Your focused will, used as a driver for your actions, has the power to manifest your dreams. The creative energy of all four elements flows through your veins, and the possibilities they offer are infinite. How will you use this energy today? With such great power at your fingertips also comes the awareness that you carry complete responsibility for determining your own fate. The power is yours. Now use it. So reading through these messages has given me the chance to feel into the way these puzzle pieces fit together. I do want to get more clarification still, but with the emphasis on creating the space and the spaciousness for yourself to rest and tap into abundance and align with the choices that are self-loving, nurturing for you, and that feed your creativity and align you with getting to receive and bear into fruition the fruits of your labors. And then the Magician being the card that is up right out of the three, I am getting a sense that you are in a moment right now of feeling a little bit of a confusion or a delay or an obstacle. It might be, I've been putting in the work and aligning with my path, but it doesn't seem like it's getting rewarded, and I want to keep walking in faith, but I just don't feel encouraged or heartened to do that. I feel like I need some proof of my faith. Or it might be kind of just not knowing what your next steps are, or feeling like you are getting drained from a sense of working without reward. Regardless of the specifics of your circumstances, the Magician showing up in the center of the two reversed cards does give us the sense here that you and your own power and free will and your ability to shift your perspective on your situation has the ability to transmute your situation. So for example, you can turn delays into time to reorient yourself and time to pour into other projects besides the ones that are getting delayed. Areas of confusion or miscommunication between you and another person, or confusion within your own mind, can become opportunities to pause and initiate communication, initiate a process within yourself of reflection or externally with other people of communication to clarify, what do I want? What feels best for me as my next step? What is getting between me and this other person? What is getting between me and this goal? I might feel helpless or a little stuck right now. There's a feeling of stuckness with the inverted energy of those cards. Is there actually a point of access to power for me in this situation? What ways am I already in alignment that I can capitalize on? And what areas of my life are calling for me to come more into alignment with myself and with them? And with a little reflection or communication, how can I enlighten myself as to what those steps are to bring myself into alignment there? Okay. The Three of Swords reversed As the next card that came out of the unfolding path, I'm being told to look at the bottom of the deck as well. The Emperor reversed. Okay. Let's see here. The Three of Swords reversed often expresses that there is a heartbreak in the recent past that you are now in a position to, as we've been discussing, transmute and begin the process of moving through and forward and healing from that pain. And I am really curious to see what this specific deck has to say about the Three of Swords. This specific deck does not offer reversal messages like some decks do, and that is completely fine. But with the Three of Swords, you can see that it's as if the swords are about to fall out of the heart, and that can be a very powerful moment to be in, a very painful moment to be in, but also very powerful, kind of similar to how we were talking about the Magician representing the power you have in these painful moments of stuckness, confusion, or obstacles. I do think this is shedding some light potentially on the situations that have led up to you feeling a little bit stuck and feeling that you are in a painful moment in your life, and that have caused you to maybe be out of alignment with this shower of abundance that the Empress and the Wealth card reflect to us, and that the Magician card as well. You know, even the Lovers are surrounded by gold in the background. So this wealth of opportunities, resources, connections, love, and financial and material wealth may be more available to you than it seems. And the moment that you're in right now, it does seem that these cards are beckoning you to see this moment as an opportunity to get clarity on what has been blocking you and what you can do about it. There's almost this sense of, it's funny because I'm used to, as a very emotional shadow work oriented person, I'm used to beckoning people to please feel your feelings, please feel your feelings. And I'm never going to stop that, and I'm certainly not going to advise you not to feel your feelings. But there is almost this sense here, I didn't realize that was partly off camera, that with the Three of Swords reversed, that often represents a time of wallowing being at an end. So yes, feel your feelings, feel them, feel them such that they are flowing through you. And yes, it's more than okay for that to include periods of really wallowing and even reveling in them. And there's a time to take action such that you are no longer stuck there. And the Emperor reversed is really representing that for us, because the Emperor is Aries energy, all about forward moving action, very much an incarnation of the divine masculine. So the suggestion here with the Three of Swords reversed and the Emperor reversed is that areas where you could be taking divine action, divinely inspired action and aligned action, but are feeling a little confused and stuck, those areas are what are keeping you from accessing the full wealth of divine feminine receptive energy, receptivity to connection with the Lovers, and receptivity to all the love as well as other forms of wealth available to you. There's such an interesting sense with the Magician of that balancing point in the infinity symbol, and how you are the being at that center point, at that balance point, and the things that flow towards you, you always have the opportunity to transmute them so that they are different on their way out. And it's okay if there are certain things that you just don't feel able or called to transmute. If there are certain situations where the answer is, it is what it is, and I'm going to work with the opportunities and power that I have for my own empowerment and the improvement of my path forward, even though I can't change these things. My transmutation is not necessarily going to change those things themselves, but it is going to change me feeling like I am stuck with them, stuck in them, or a victim to them, or at the mercy of them. The Magician and the Emperor are calling you to recognize, okay, you've done the work of feeling your feelings, you've accepted the ways in which you are at the mercy of your situation. The Emperor and the Magician are calling you to recognize the ways in which you are not, and what you can do. And they are reminding you, in conjunction with the Lovers and the Empress, that by taking those actions, you are setting yourself up to receive. By leaning into that divine masculine energy of forward moving action and applying and exerting your will, your free will, your freedom of choice, and your personal power to get things done and bring about what you want. By exerting those efforts, you are setting yourself up to then be in a position to receive the rewards that you are looking for. And I do get the feeling that you have, Group 3, been working. It's not that you've just been, lazing about or anything like that, even if you have been wallowing. But there may be some fine-tuning and some perspective shifts that can happen to align the work you are doing and the energy with which you are doing it, so that rather than burning out or completely bulldozing the rest of your life by feeling that you need to stay stuck in masculine accomplishment, achievement, productivity mode all the time, you do get to then sit back, relax, and enjoy the results of a hard day's work after that forward moving action. And you get to go back and forth. There might be some tweaks and fine-tuning needed to free up your ability to cycle, like the infinity symbol flow, back and forth between the yin and yang, between resting and activity. And aligning your actions, getting clear on what has been blocking you and what steps will truly be most effective and walk the clearest and least obstructed path to your desired destination. That clarity will help you align and remove obstructions from that flow, so that you can feel a little more effortless in flowing back and forth between action and receiving, action and rest, action and inaction. Because one of the things that can block that flow is feeling doubtful or unconfident about, well, are the actions that I'm taking the right ones? And are they really getting me where I want to go? So, and with the Lovers, and how that was reversed, I am feeling that connection between masculine and feminine represented in the Lovers, I am feeling that is really the dynamic being represented by that card today, where that ability to flow within yourself and feel that those energies are balanced within your life, whether it's work-life balance or masculine-feminine balance. I do feel that is what is being represented as currently a little unclear, a little obstructed, and something that you actually are more able to work with than you may realize, more empowered to work with than you may realize with the Magician here. Okay, so we've got some good advice already, but I want to get more clarity from our spirit guides on how to how to go about following that advice, what the next steps are right here and right now. We've got a good reflection of the situation. We know that the first steps are getting clarity on what is not working for you and what is, so that you can then from there get clarity on what you can do about the things that are not working for you and which things you have to simply accept as part of your reality, what parts of your reality you can change and what you can't. And then making the choice to have the courage to do something about those things that you have identified that you can. And then from there to make sure that you don't get stuck in, I have to keep burning myself out, staying in productivity mode, making sure that you feel that you make space for yourself to rest and receive, and making sure that your actions feel aligned with your integrity and your true desires and needs enough that it does feel natural to step back and rest, because I find that it can be quite natural to step back and rest when we feel the alignment of our actions, when we feel them moving us, in the direction that we wish to be moved in. Whereas if we are not feeling that, then it can feel like, well, I can't rest because I haven't gotten anywhere yet. So that's to recap what we've gotten so far. And I want to thank you for walking with me as I kind of felt my way through the clouds and the fog around this message. I feel like we are kind of fumbling our way through the mist together here, group 3. So I do hope that it has been illuminating to feel our way through with me, rather than frustrating or feeling like the messages are super slow to come out. We have the 7 of Swords. That was underneath the Emperor at the bottom of the deck. And we have the, let's see here, the Hierophant. And because they kind of came out sideways, I wasn't holding the deck straight up and down. So there might be a little bit of both the reversed and the upright energies for those. It doesn't seem to be as clear or necessarily as important as it was that some of these cards, it provided a very clear and important message ultimately that they came out in reverse. Whereas with these two, it seems like there might be a little bit of both going on. The Fool, that one definitely came out in reverse, which does suggest that there is a new beginning that is kind of waiting for you on the other side, and it does feel like you are maybe obstructed or delayed from getting the fresh start that you want to get, but that it is waiting for you and available to you, like we discussed with the Magician. I want to take a look at the 7 of Swords description and the Hierophant description. The Hierophant is a very wonderful and powerful teacher, also a teacher that is rooted in tradition, a sage of sorts. And sometimes, therefore, the Hierophant, especially reversed, can reflect being stuck on traditions and the way things have always been done. So it's possible that that is alluding to one of the obstacles for clarity on next steps for you being that there is an overlay over your vision of, well, this is how I work, this is how the situation I'm in works, this is how my workplace or my job or my career works, and I can't change that, when actually it may be possible to take off those goggles and see other ways to do things. In your case, they might be completely different ways to do things, or they might just be tweaks and fine-tuning, subtle changes that end up yielding a surprisingly significant difference. So that is the first message I'm getting from the Hierophant. And then with the 7 of Swords, let's see, the 7, I have an energetic feeling I'm getting with the 7 of Swords from this deck right here, but I really want to get a little bit of clarification from the guidebook on it before I speak to that, because I'm feeling like there's a difference between how I'm feeling it and how I know to put into words. So the key words for the Seven of Swords are cunning, secrecy, deception, and dishonesty. And it says, there are whispers of deception, trickery, and betrayal afoot. Who is at work in secret, sneaking around behind people's backs and behind closed doors? Is it you, or are you the victim? Be careful, as those that think they will get away with a cunning plan may be found out, and there will be nothing left for them but shame and guilt. Beware, as dishonesty and distrust poison the air. Listen to your intuition if something feels off. It might be in your best interest not to overshare right now. One's reputation, once destroyed, can seldom be returned. Now, that can feel like a little bit of an alarming or alarmist message. With the way this came out, with the way I felt when this came out, and how it came out in conjunction with the Three of Swords reversed, I do think this is clarifying and validating for you a situation that you've already been through. You might still be in the midst of it now, but with how the Three of Swords came out reversed and the energies that I'm channeling about the situation, it does feel like this is something that's, for most of you, already happened, and that you're in the process of healing from and getting over, recovering from. The Seven of Swords does come out with a lot of different energies and different readings. It's a card that I'm very familiar with myself because it's come out in a lot of readings for myself. But despite my familiarity, I wanted to read the guidebook because it does help ground me in sifting through what specific energies I'm getting today, this moment, this reading for each card. So that's why I turn to that so much. And today I'm really strongly being drawn to how many swords this individual made off with and how gleefully they did so, in conjunction with the Three of Swords being reversed, you being in a position of getting over and recovering from the pain, the swords of the heartbreak having already fallen out, and you no longer having an active obstruction to the wound, but being in a position to heal it, where it does still need healing, but there's nothing blocking you from healing it anymore. So I do feel that you have been in a situation where something or someone has made you feel stolen from, has made you feel drained, depleted, and like they made off with something of yours. And it may be a situation of overwork where this is metaphorical, or it may be a little bit more literal where someone has emotionally drained you, or taken for you in another way. So for some of you, this is confirmation. If you were wondering about any potential unclarity or gray areas in this situation with another person, this may be confirming for some of you this person has been sneaky, has been deceptive, and has not been trustworthy, and should no longer be trusted going forward. With what we spoke to earlier about getting clear, I would recommend setting aside some time to get clear about your own feelings about this situation and your own thoughts. Don't let them sit in a muddle, because part of what can obstruct the feelings from passing through cleanly and no longer just sitting in your body and in your energetic system can be going in circles, ruminating in your mind without digging into and getting clear on what's underneath those eddies and swirls of thought and emotion. I'm almost getting the feeling of like pulling rocks out of a stream and discovering that the stream flows smoothly forward instead of creating these little whirlpools once those rocks get pulled out. So if you are in this situation with another person, there might be some of you where you can gain that clarity by actually communicating with them. But I think for just about all of us, all of you, really getting clear on your own thoughts and feelings is what's really needed. And I think those of you where communicating with the other person is part of the clarity, potentially even closure, that you truly do need, that will become just indubitably clear to you upon reflection, if that is the case. Because if you're in a situation where you have been disappointed or let down by someone, or betrayed even by someone, and you're just going like, I just don't quite know what to make of this situation, get clear on what you're confused about, how you really feel about the situation, what you wish you could say to the person or ask them, and then consider, okay, if I actually say something or say one of these things or ask some of these questions to this person, what am I looking for from that exchange? Are there specific answers that would present me with red flags or green flags that would tell me, okay, it's okay to seek resolution with this person, or make it just completely clear to me that it's time to walk away? I think with the Seven of Swords energy, it is a strong sign that if you are in a situation involving someone who may not be trustworthy, make sure that you know what you're looking to get out of the exchange and out of the conversation before you enter a conversation with them. Don't go into it already confused and leaving an opening for someone else to potentially confuse you further or manipulate and exploit that confusion to their own benefit. You might even, depending on the situation you're dealing with, find it necessary or important to protect yourself by knowing what your sort of escape plan is for the situation, what your exit plan is, I should say. So if the conversation starts to go in a direction where you feel uneasy at all, what are you going to say to gracefully exit? Knowing that before you go in will make it so that if you do start to feel like, okay, I've kind of lost my footing here, I'm not sure what their responses, what direction their responses are pointing me into, I need to go take a moment to reflect again and get clear again, rather than responding from a place of confusion and uncertainty. Protect yourself by doing that and by knowing before you go into the situation how you will do that if it becomes necessary. That felt really strongly channeled as well. Like, I know that's partly just how my own mind works, but that did feel really strongly channeled from our collective spirit guides. So it is very clear that some of you are dealing with a literal or metaphorical thief. And it feels really important to validate that for some of you who may have really trusted this person. This may be a work situation or a family situation. It may be a very personal situation for some of you. And my heart goes out to you if it is. I relate very strongly to that. And if this is a situation where you really did trust someone and it turned out that they were not acting in a way that was worthy of that trust, my heart goes out to you, and you did nothing wrong is the message here. It's not your fault. But move forward in a way that is protecting yourself. With this Emperor energy, step into, like how that was in reverse, there may have been someone who got underneath your protections, and it's now time to enforce your boundaries and lean into and step into that protectiveness of self, so that you can have a safe space for loving and nurturing yourself, as we spoke of with the Lovers and Empress, and so that you can have a strong immune system to kick out interlopers energetically and metaphorically. I can feel the surprise energy here, and I can feel that part of what is keeping a sense of stuckness or confusion is the shock. So I do truly hope that this reading, for those of you who are in this situation, can be part of the systems of support in your life that help you move through the shock. Because I know that for myself, communicating about a situation and getting validation for it and having that situation be seen and recognized by others is so important for the shock thawing and the ice of the situation kind of dripping away and fully letting go of those swords obstructing the wounds so that the circulation can come back to the wounds and heal them. So I'm really sorry that you're going through this. I see you, and I know you can heal from this, and I know that you can move on from this situation and frankly find better friends if this is a personal situation that you're dealing with. With that situation, that does add a new layer of meaning to the Fool card in reverse. The Fool is deeply, profoundly innocent in the way that all of us are at heart and in our inner child, even the people who have done the least innocent things. Somewhere deep within their suppressed selves have that innocence. And some of you may be in situations where you feel that someone has stolen your innocence, with the way the Seven of Swords and the Fool reversed came out in conjunction to each other. And I truly grieve for you, Group 3, if that is the situation you find yourself in, because I have been there and I know exactly how painful it is. I know exactly how devastating it is, and I am so sorry if that is what you are going through right now. And we spoke earlier to how the Fool, in conjunction with the reading so far, represents that there is a new beginning waiting for you on the other side of this confusion. There's just a little bit of mist to clear to get to that other side, so that you can breathe in the fresh air of the new beginning and enjoy and relax into and spread out in a safe, blank new slate. That joy of, the childlike joy with the balloon and that great big grin on her face. One of the things I love about the Fool card in this deck is that, depending on how you personally interpret this image, this could be an older person with graying hair. And it has the butterflies as well, which represent rebirth, transformation of the butterfly coming out of the cocoon. So this card very much has coded into it that childlike innocence is not restricted to childhood. It's not only the province of children. At any age, you deserve your balloons, you deserve your flowers, you deserve and have the ability to access your rebirths and emerge fresh and brand new from whatever cocoon you find yourself in. And I know exactly how stunning and devastating it can be when it feels like that cocoon has been pierced by some kind of heartbreak or betrayal. But you are in the position right now, Spirit is saying, where the swords have been removed. The swords that pierced your cocoon have been removed. You have all the resources you need to heal, replenish, and protect that cocoon. And on the other side of that, you will emerge just as new, just as innocent, with this exactly as much capacity for joy as you had before, if not more. Although someone did rob of your energy, they did not rob of your potential. You will emerge unscathed. You will experience just as much joy as you would have if they hadn't done this. And in fact, with the Magician and that attitude of transmutation, you might even relish that joy even more because of the way these types of experiences transform our attitude and deepen our capacity to appreciate the little things. Speaking from personal experience here, you certainly are under no obligation to start trying to find rainbows in your clouds or silver linings in your clouds before you are ready to. Having mined those cards for all those messages and channeled all that from Spirit, I do want to read what this guidebook has to say about the Hierophant. Number 5 in the deck. So we do have 0, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very, very interesting. And of course, in terms of just sheer numbers, we have 2 3s, and we have next to each other, in fact. And we have the 7 following the 6 as well. For some of you, that type of sequential number sequence may be something you've been seeing a lot of lately, kind of like angel numbers, reminding you that there is a step-by-step path forward that you are on, that you are taking. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. The key words for the Hierophant are mentor, tradition, spiritual wisdom, teacher, institutions, hierarchy, knowledge-seeking, and conformity. I want to say right away before I read the rest of the guidebook message for the Hierophant, with the mention of hierarchy, conformity, and teachers and institutions there, it's possible that whoever disappointed or betrayed you in this situation was manipulating some kind of hierarchical or institutional power they had, and or that you are being reminded that you can actually use certain systems and hierarchies to report such behavior. So if this was a workplace, you can go to HR, potentially even if it is advisable. I am not a legal expert or advisor, but you can seek out advice on whether there is legal action that can and would be appropriate to be taken in these circumstances. But even if it's nowhere near that extreme, you can still report to HR and similar agencies, or your school's disciplinary board and things like that. So there may be a bit of a double-edged sword there, where someone was using a position of institutionalized authority in some way to gain your trust, which they then betrayed, or to gain a position of power over others, which they then exploited. And on the other edge of the sword, you may be in a position where one of the steps forward that you may not have realized was available to you may be to take some systemic action, to report something that happened, or to seek advice from people in positions of counseling and mentorship at your organization, or in the world, if this is a situation where you can seek advice from a therapist, from an assault survivors hotline, from a legal advisor, a mediator, a counselor of some kind. There may be more advice and support available to you than you've realized, because you just didn't know what resources were available to someone in your situation. So the guidebook message for the Hierophant says, a beloved mentor or spiritual guide, the Hierophant is a reliable source of wisdom. There are many paths to the divine, and you are free to choose the path and traditions that speak to your soul. Have you reached a point in your life where the guidance of established social structures could bring a feeling of harmony and order? Or is it time to step away from a doctrine that you were raised in and explore a new path? Consider taking a class or joining a group for further spiritual exploration. Teachers appear in the most unlikely places. Open your heart to learn. Now, with the way that I mentioned that it wasn't completely clear with the positioning of the deck whether these came out upright or in reverse, I am feeling very, very strongly, just in conjunction with the rest of the reading and from the energy that I'm channeling and sitting in right now, that the Hierophant reversed type of energy was really coming through here, and that there was someone who is very sneakily taking advantage of your trust and faith in them, which may have been blind trust or faith, and it may not have seemed like it was blind trust or faith. It may have felt like there was all sorts of evidence supporting trusting this person and having faith in them and believing the best in them. I didn't even notice at first the keys on this person's belt. It's kind of like this person was handed the keys to the kingdom and they didn't deserve them, is the energy that's really coming through here. There's such a sneaky, honestly, even malevolent energy coming to me through the Hierophant card from Spirit. So, again, for those of you who have been feeling doubt and confusion about how could this person have betrayed me? Did they really? Am I going crazy? What is there something else going on that I don't understand? There is a very gentle and strong affirmation from Spirit of, you were wronged in this situation. You were wronged by this person that you did trust. And there is such an empathy outpouring from Spirit and your guides, your companions in Spirit. For many of you, your ancestors, loved ones, and family members who've passed on, there is such an outpouring of support and empathy of we know, we understand how hard it is to believe this, how crushing it is to be let down by this person. And we are here to help you pick up the pieces. Call on us, call on your, especially ancestors are coming through, and passed on loved ones, like very recent ancestors, are coming through very strongly for a lot of you. Perhaps for some of you that is an indication that it is a family member who was the source of this heartbreak and pain and angst and devastation for you. And that because of that, your family in spirit are especially invested in and eager to help. But that's not necessarily the case. Your family in spirit, of course, are here for you no matter what the situation is. For some of you, this may truly be a situation of gaslighting from a young age that is now becoming apparent to you. And that all the ways it's been holding you back from feeling clear about your direction forward in life, feeling like you can receive the fruits of your labor, feeling like you have access to your personal power and your ability to create the life you want and affect changes in the world and in your life. All of the ways it's been holding you back to have been victim to this conditioning and this gaslighting and these overlays that were put on you from a young age is really becoming apparent for some of you. For others of you, it may be a more specific instance that has recently occurred. And for many of you, it may be both. It may be that the most recent instance within a long-held pattern in a group you're part of, a portion of your family, a workplace you've been at for some time, whatever it may be, a recent instance in a pattern may be bringing all those rocks in that stream that we were talking about earlier to light, to the surface. And now is your time, your opportunity to get out, to cleanse these patterns and lenses, these goggles from your eyes, from the way you look at the world and look at your life. Maybe you've always seen everything that goes wrong as your fault because of the way you were treated as a child. And this stark betrayal from someone in your life is really making you realize, wait a second, what's going on in my life right now is not my fault. How I was stolen from is not my fault. And wait a second, maybe all these other times that I was made to feel similarly weren't all my fault either. Maybe at least some, if not all of the responsibility was on someone else's shoulders as well. And my eyes were just drawn back to the wealth card because I feel there's such a deprivation of self-confidence and self-esteem and self-worth that comes from those patterns of conditioning and gaslighting and beliefs about responsibility and blame, that realizing that those things aren't necessarily true, that there are all sorts of cracks in those overlays, actually opens you up to this just outpouring of internal energetic wealth and abundance of like, it's a whole new world. I am not the villain. I'm not the bad guy. I am not deficient. There's nothing wrong with me. Oh my gosh, there's a whole wealth of options that I never explored because I simply had no idea they were available, because I was always told someone like you can't do things like that, can't have things like that. This is why we can't have nice things. When in fact, none of that was true. Having your eyes opened to the truth does open the door to a whole wealth of different options. And there's just such an internal sense of wealth versus deprivation and depletion when we move from a sense of just being lacking as a person because of how we were conditioned in shame to, I am actually a person who's full of potential and worth and deserving, and it wasn't my fault that these things happened. I truly hope that you can feel that energetic sense of wealth beyond how I can possibly put it into words, because it is a magnificent shift that feels impossible before it happens, and the first half of it happening is very painful, as we've been talking about, with the swords needing to come out of the wound, and the initial part of the healing of the wound meaning thawing it from all that ice. So it is very painful at first, and then you start to turn the corner, and I feel that this is where you're at right now, right before the swords have come out, the wound has been thawing, and you're just about to turn the corner of really healing that wound, really getting separation from these people, really stepping into the new life path options available to you. I'm feeling drawn to the Shadowscapes Tarot. Let's see what messages want to come through this deck for us today. I don't have the box for the Shadowscapes Tarot to show you like I do for the ones where I do have the box. I like to show you the decks that I'm using so that if you're curious about them, you can look them up. But the name of this deck is Shadowscapes. There is water damage on some of the cards because I've had it for so long, so I do apologize if any of those cards come out. We have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Let me show you this card up close because these are very intricate, detailed cards. I'm just always amazed at the lush art on these cards, no matter how many times I see them. The Nine of Pentacles is a card of independent, self-sufficient abundance. So it coming out in reverse is not a surprise with it coming out next to the Hierophant in the context of this reading, because these figures who may have done wrong by you may have been people you were dependent on or subject to in some way, regardless of the context, school, work, family, relationship. And they may have made you feel dependent on them. They may have, with what we were just talking about shame and self-worth, they may have made you feel that you were nothing without them. I feel really strongly that was the case for some of you. For others of you, it may have been less severe than that, but nonetheless, this is reflecting how you are on the cusp of turning that corner away from them, and how you are on the verge of, it may not feel fully possible yet, but you are on the verge of becoming independent from this situation or these people. I especially love it coming out under the Magician because of that and next to the Emperor. We have the Knight of Cups. So Knights are definitely cards of forward movement, a forward moving action, direct action, working towards a goal, such as the Grail in the Knight of Cups. And so in this Knight of Cups, with the cups being the element of water, we do see clarity of the murky waters having become less murky so that you are able to traverse them towards your goal. So we do see you in this card emerging from the Nine of Pentacles reversed, emerging from the Three of Swords reversed, and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here. With it being cups, which are about emotions as well as water, I think this does reflect the clarity of action that comes from reflecting on and allowing to pour out of you your emotions, like we spoke about earlier, getting really clear on what you think and feel, and allowing it to pour out of you and allowing your actions to be in alignment with that rather than in the suppression of it and, oh, I've just got to keep going in spite of my feelings. How would you act if you were going to honor your feelings, if you were going to act from your feelings? And from nurturing with the cups, and with the Empress and the Lovers and the Fool, how would you act if you were nurturing the seed of your new beginning from the the manure, the crappy fertile soil of what you've just been through? And it's not easy for horses or people to wade through water like this one is doing, but there is clarity and the very real and tangible light at the end of the tunnel on the other side. The Knight of Cups, I do believe, can also represent any individuals in your life who can make this voyage with you and be supports, be knights at your side, kind of your knights of the round table even is coming through. Be your companions and support system. So definitely lock into those supports. Sometimes that shame, especially if it's been lifelong, can keep us from really reaching out to other people for help or showing them exactly what's been going on with us. So this is definitely a time to open up to those people who you can trust, the people who you did not think of when we were talking about the sneaky energies, the people you know you can count on. Bring them in as allies emotionally and for working towards your goals. We have the Ace of Wands here, definitely a card of a new beginning, as all the aces are. And with the fire element from the wands, this is an inspired new beginning, an inspiring new beginning. This is kind of that light at the end of the tunnel. When you reach it, will light you up, and fully you will feel warmth fully after having thawed from that freeze of shock and the cold, icy waters of betrayal and heartbreak. When you will feel warmth and the fire of inspiration and comfort and being on fire with zest for life and the joy of life again. You will feel that again. And you will not be alone again, as we spoke to with the Knight of Cups. There is hope in this situation. You are your own guiding light and your own primary source of hope with the Magician here. And one of the messages that came through with the Hierophant that I think I forgot to articulate because there were a few at the same time was that at the end of the day, you are your own teacher, you are your own sage, your own guide. Not in the sense of, oh, you can't lean on or trust anyone else. You can and you should. As they prove themselves to be trustworthy, you should connect with people and allow them to earn your trust. But you can trust your own guiding light within yourself and follow the beacon of your own hopes, your own desires, what you truly want for your life. That there's just a strong sense with the upright portion of the Hierophant message and the Ace of Wands here, and the Magician, the Emperor as well, that you have a fire in your heart that has not gone out, the same way your innocence has not gone away, even though it may feel like it's been stolen from you. In addition to still having that innocence within you, you have that hope, you have the fire that keeps you going. Do whatever it takes to nourish that and to move from that place and to keep it going. Spirit is really here honoring that light within you and what you've already done to protect it, because clearly those of you who are here have already taken some measures that may have surprised yourself and the people around you to protect yourself from these people, these traitors in your life, or these forces in your life. You wouldn't be at this turning point if you hadn't already done something. Some of you, I can almost hear you saying, oh, but I should have done more. I haven't really done anything that counts. No, you have. Even if it's all just internal shifts of starting to realize that they aren't who they tried to convince you they were. They aren't who they seemed. Even if so far it's all internal, you have done very important work. And keep going. Keep that fire protected and keep following the light in the lighthouse. I'm being drawn to another tarot deck, I believe. I have another deck over here. This one, this tarot deck. That's the box. Let me get the deck out and shuffle a little and see why I'm being drawn to this deck for more messages. I want to thank you for showing up for your reading and showing up for yourself, because you are clearly in a place where you are showing up for yourself in a big way right now. And I can see how the pain and confusion of your current situation, the pain you're in right now, could discourage you and make you feel like you shouldn't show up for yourself so much, shouldn't prioritize that, like you've done something wrong. The past conditioning might make you feel like you've done something wrong by showing up for yourself and prioritizing yourself over someone else. Keep showing up for yourself. Thank you for doing that. Spirit is so glad, and your spirit guides are cheering you on and like, yes, keep going. Don't turn back now. Don't get cowed by whatever sort of like manipulative, hateful speech. You know, sometimes people who have been sneaky to you will act like you've betrayed them by daring to disconnect from them after they've betrayed you, and you haven't. And it's important that you start to, or rather continue to, prioritize not betraying yourself. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, I was feeling drawn to pull out a card, and what came out was the Emperor reversed again. Wow, okay. I'm a little bit shocked. Maybe I shouldn't be. That the same message would come out from two different decks, but I admit that I am. Well, that makes me very curious. I bet there's another message in this guidebook. Masculinity, stability, fearlessness, and passion are the keywords for the Emperor in this deck, and that fearlessness is really standing out, and you might not feel stable right now. That definitely is part of what the reversal is speaking to, and you might feel very scared, but courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting with your fear and carrying it forward with you, making the choice that you know is right for you and what you truly want upon self-reflection, and carrying the scared parts of you with you as scared inner children that you are protecting. Don't let the fears stop you, and don't let the uncertainty and instability stop you. You have what it takes to move forward and begin to create your own stability. This deck does offer reversed descriptions in the guidebook. Maybe that's part of why we were drawn here. The reverse description says, when the Emperor is drawn reversed, it may be a sign that someone is abusing their authority over you. Okay, in hindsight, that's a bit of an obvious message that I completely neglected to even think about when the Emperor reversed came out. Rather than supporting and nurturing your needs, they impose their will upon yours. Often they will tell you that it's for your own good. Alternatively, it may be an indication that you are not providing the stability that your loved ones sorely need. So that last sentence, I don't want you to take to heart too much, because this is very, very clearly, in my opinion, just a deep confirmation, validation, and clarification of what unfolded for us in this reading of you've been placed in a not great position by some not great people, and it's not your fault. I think the only application of that last sentence here is how we were talking about protecting your inner children. Take the steps to protect your emotions, your inner children, the parts of yourself that need nurturing and protecting, and keep them in mind as what and whom you're doing this for. If you feel like you lose sight of that sometimes, or you're faced with a manipulative person and you feel like you need something to draw on to help yourself stand up to them, remember all the versions of yourself that got you here, and how they and you deserve to be protected from how these figures and forces in your life have made you feel. For this to have come out in both decks, this is a very clear and important message for you, and you are important and worth saving and protecting from this situation. Do not throw the baby out with the bathwater. You are the baby in this situation. Do not throw yourself out just because someone else made you feel like something to be used and discarded. You're not. Take them out with the trash is the message for some of you. The next page from the Emperor is the Hierophant, so I do want to visit the reversal message in this guidebook for how the Hierophant came out for us before. The Hierophant in reverse indicates that you are now questioning traditional beliefs and the status quo. You feel pressure to conform, but you do not agree with the belief systems upheld by the group. You need to shake things up for yourself in order to enjoy more spontaneity and freedom in your life. So for some of you, either in addition to or instead of this being a very individual, abusive power dynamic, there may be instead or in addition a group dynamic where you feel constrained and suffocated by the norms of this group, and it's time to be the change you wish to see in this situation, or leave the situation depending on whether the situation is safe for you to stay in or not. Some of you will be the change makers, lighting the way for others, in your classroom, in your school, in your organization. Others of you will be realizing that this workplace, this church, this friend group is depleting you and poisoning the well and not a good fit for you anymore, and will simply be saying goodbye. Okay, I'm feeling very strongly that that was what we needed to get from that deck. Any other messages, Spirit? Any other cards we want to pull from? Any other messages that want to come through? This message has really gone from a point of confusion to a point of completion, and I'm so grateful to you, dear listener, for sticking with it and for opening your eyes to all the potential that you have in your life that these forces have been blocking you from. For some of you, potentially very literally with the Wealth card here, and how abusive situations can very literally drain your finances, whether they be at work or at home. But whether it's literal or metaphorical, you have so much more wealth of options available to you than these situations and people have led you to believe. And you are moving in the right direction to take ownership of your power and align yourself with those options. It feels like an uphill slog at times, and it probably does right now. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep stoking your hearth and finding your allies, and making sure that you get rest and healing from this situation, because you will emerge on the other side of the current battles and mists and fogs, and you do have everything it takes within you and all of the worth and deserving within you. And you will find better people than the ones that have let you down, betrayed you, or abused their power and authority over you and others. Thank you so much for being here, Group 3. I so appreciate you putting this work into yourself and your life. People like you lead the way by example for the millions of people who have also been in some capacity brainwashed, gaslit, conditioned out of their truth and their reality. I hope that you keep on finding the lights within yourself and in other people who can be allies and role models as you become your own sage, your own magician, your own emperor and empress. I truly hope you see that light within yourself and see it reflected in others, because you are a lighthouse for others, and you are not alone. So many of us have been through this journey before you and with you, and we'll be delighted to welcome you as we as we recover together from the situations we have been through. Thank you, and have a great rest of your week.